2022 was a historic season for Virginia Tech, but it was for all the wrong reasons. The Hokies went 3-8 in their first year under Brent Pry, and now the big question is whether or not they can make history for the better and start turning things around in 2023. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad that you could join us today, kicking off our ACC football predictions with the Virginia Tech Hokies. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country, beating out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 5 years. So if you want a guaranteed winning record, guaranteed money right back in your pocket, and the best customer service that any other handicap could possibly give you, this is the place for you. Go sign up today, guys. It's a full year-long subscription, one of the lowest priced in the country. You do not want to miss out on that offer. You do not want to miss out on our Patreon account for exclusive college football content year-round, becoming a member of our Patreon Wall of Fame, and send us some gear down to the description below at that mailing address. We'd love to get some ACC gear up here. We don't have any. No ACC gear, no Virginia Tech gear, so send us some of your team's favorite gear to be represented in every single Gridiron Expert video. So let's take a look at Virginia Tech, guys. It's one of those things where this team was actually better than the record shows last year. The Hokies, had they been able to close out some games in the fourth quarter, would have been much better, and we maybe wouldn't be so down on them this year. The media wouldn't be so down on them this year. 3-8 in 2022, but 4 losses by 1 possession. 4 losses actually by a combined 11 points, blowing fourth quarter leads to Old Dominion, NC State, where they led 21-3 at one point, and Georgia Tech. So 3 blown fourth quarter leads. They win all those. They're 6-5, and they're technically going to a bowl game. So, Virginia Tech, I think, had the talent, just couldn't get over the hump. And you look at what they're going up against this year. We said it was a historic season for a lot of different reasons. Well, offensively, you take a look, that was one of the more historic reasons in a bad way. They averaged 19.3 points per game, their lowest total since 1989. Lowest total since 1989. And they were -6 in the turnover margin, too. So committed a lot of turnovers while also not finding a way to force too many defensively. But this year should be better. 7 starters are back with lots of transfers coming in, trying to immediately fix that offense. The biggest one coming in, of course, is Kyron Drones, coming in from Baylor at quarterback. Now, of course, he's still battling against Grant Wells, who was the starter for Virginia Tech last year, but Brent Pry very high on Drones. The guy doesn't have much experience with the Bears, but has a great arm, has dual threat capability. That's a huge plus. He's more than likely going to get the starting job in Blacksburg and could give this offense an immediate boost. You pair him with a guy like Bashal Tutton in from NC-A&T, where he rushed for over 1,300 yards last year. That's a great running back quarterback duo that could give some teams a lot of issues. Nick Gallo back at tight end as the number 2 pass catcher from last year. And then they add some wide receiver transfers. Guys like Jalen Lane in from Middle Tennessee. Guys like Ollie Jennings in from Old Dominion. So this offense should take a significant boost forward, go from 19 points per game, maybe up to 24, 25 points per game if all goes well. So Brent Pry making some change on that side of the ball should be a lot better this year. Defensively, wasn't really bad last year. That's the thing. Brent Pry is a defensive-minded coach. We knew that. 7 starters are back on that side of the ball after giving up just 24.7 points per game. They do lose their top 2 tacklers, but they are loaded at all 3 levels. Got a lot of talent at the defensive line, linebacker, and secondary. The secondary probably going to be one of the strengths of the team, led by Nasir Peoples and Mansard Delane. So this is a secondary that's going to be pretty solid. The defense as a whole should take a big step forward year 2 under Brent Pry's system. Biggest thing for them is going to be finding a way to create more turnovers as well. That's going to be a really big task for the Hokies. When you take a look at their schedule, guys, you look at Virginia Tech and what they're up against, there are no gimme games on their schedule, right? There's not one game on their schedule where you go, that's a win, automatic win, right? There's no FCS team. There's no major cupcake team. It's not easy because you can't even consider Old Dominion a cupcake team because they lost to the Monarchs last year. But we're start predicting their schedule. I do think they will beat Old Dominion. I think they get past the Monarchs. They were -3 in the turnover margin last year. It was a major reason for the Hokies' upset loss in that season opener. Lost 20-17, but Old Dominion only returning 7 starters total, gave up nearly 200 rushing yards per game last year. You have a great running back now in Bashaw Tutton. You have a great quarterback in Kyron Jones. I just don't see Old Dominion getting a win for the second year in a row, especially in Blacksburg. So Virginia Tech starts 1-0, and I actually think they beat the reigning Big Ten West champions at home in Purdue. Virginia Tech getting Purdue at a great time. Why? Because Purdue's going through a massive change. Aiden O'Connell is gone. Ryan Walters in as a brand new head coach in West Lafayette. They get this game at home. It's a pretty young Purdue team that's going into one of the more hostile environments in the entire country. So I think home field advantage plays a really, really big role in this one. And I'm curious to see how well the Purdue offense gets things going against this pretty solid Virginia Tech defense. New quarterback in Hudson Card, got a good running game. They're going to have to stop the running game with Devin Mockabee more than anything, but I just don't think Purdue's going to have enough across the board to come on the road and steal this win. So Virginia Tech starts 2-0, quality win there over Purdue. Things are trending up. And they take on Rutgers, old Big East matchup. Rutgers, guys, is a team that you don't really know what to expect from in 2023, but it's one where you believe they're going to take a step forward, right? Year 4 under Greg Schiano, solid quarterback in Gavin Wimsott, 8 starters back defensively from a unit that, like Virginia Tech, was a lot better than I think people realize. So now the Hokies are going on the road to Piscataway, and I'm actually going to give Rutgers the edge here. I like Rutgers a lot in this game. Virginia Tech, we keep saying, should take a big step forward offensively, and I believe that will be the case. But will that have happened by week 3? And will they be able to show those changes and how much better they are against the stingy Rutgers defense that, like Virginia Tech, is loaded on all 3 levels, the defensive line, linebacking core, and the secondary? I think Rutgers defense slows down this Virginia Tech offensive attack. That's still going to go through some growing pains. And while Virginia Tech's defense is strong, I would lean towards Rutgers actually having the offensive edge in this game, assuming that Gavin Wimsott and their running backs can stay healthy. And I believe that they will. So I'm going to give Rutgers the edge here. Virginia Tech falls on the road in Piscataway and then goes on the road to Marshall. Would not be surprised at all if this was a loss, right? Marshall, not a bad team, not an easy place to play. You're coming off a loss. Marshall's coming off a bye. A lot of concerns here if I'm Virginia Tech. I'm not overlooking this game. But I'm going to give them the win. I'm going to give them the win. Here's why. Marshall was great last year. Won 9 games, had that massive upset win over Notre Dame, but they lose a lot of talent from their defense. The defense was a strength last year, and they lose a lot from that side of the ball. Virginia Tech, in theory, should be bigger and more physical at the line of scrimmage in this game, on both sides, offensive line and defensive line. They should win the battle at the line of scrimmage over Marshall. And it should be noted that while Marshall only averaged 24.5 points per game last year, so the defense was not too bad. The offense wasn't all that great. They averaged 192 passing yards per game, so the passing game really wasn't there. If you're Virginia Tech, hone in on the run. Find a way to slow down the run. If you do that, you win the game. And I think Brent Pry, the defensive mind that he is, comes up with a game plan to slow down the Thundering Herd and gets a crucial road win to start 3-1 heading in to conference play. Now you head into conference play for Virginia Tech. It is brutal. I mean, look at the first 3 games to start. Pittsburgh, Florida State, Wake Forest. I'll tell you right now, I don't think Virginia Tech has enough to win any of those. I think they lose their next 3. So they go from 3-1 to 3-4. Pittsburgh is a team they lost to by 16 points last year, 45-29, allowed 326 rushing yards in that game. And there's an argument that Pittsburgh's offense could be even better this year than they were last year. If they had a healthy Phil Jurkovec, the passing game could take a leap forward. Rodney Hammond in at running back, still going to play really good ball there. And the defense for Pitt, always phenomenal. It's another one of those things where if Virginia Tech can't take that major step forward offensively, when they play a team with a really good defense, it's going to be hard to move the ball. It's going to be hard to put points on the board. Pittsburgh certainly has one of those great defenses and can come on the road and take down Virginia Tech. For me, Pittsburgh owns every single edge in this game, including the coaching edge, except for home field advantage. And I believe the Panthers can overcome that. At Florida State, not going to give them much of a shot against the Seminoles. One of, if not the best team in the ACC this year. Jordan Travis returns at quarterback. The offense is loaded this year. Even Virginia Tech's defense, that might take a step forward, is not going to have enough to slow down this electric of an attack. Arguably the best offense they're going to see all year long, and it's in Tallahassee. So I just don't see them taking down the Seminoles. And then Wake Forest, possible win here, right? I'm marking it as a loss. Wouldn't be surprised to see them beat the Demon Deacons. It's a really tough game. But I look at this. everybody I think is going to be quick to assume Wake Forest will struggle because they don't have Sam Hartman. That's not the case. Mitch Griffiths looked good in the time that he played last year. Justice Ellison returns at running back. 3 of their top 4 pass catchers return. I mean, this is a really, really good Wake Forest team, and Dave Clawson always gets the most out of this team. If you're looking at Wake Forest defense and saying, well, what can they even slow down Virginia Tech? Yes, they can, because the weakness for Wake Forest last year was their secondary, and I'm still not convinced that whoever's at quarterback for Virginia Tech, whether it's Kyron Drones, if it's Grant Wells, whoever it may be, can just torch a secondary. I don't think they're going to come out there and just light up a team through the air. I think Wake Forest owns that offensive edge. Virginia Tech, I think, owns the defensive edge, but I do think the Demon Deacons can overcome that home field advantage, and they get the win there. So Virginia Tech drops their 3rd straight game. Not great, 3-4, but they have matched last year's win total, which I think counts for something, especially that early on in the year. Coming out of the bye week, they eclipsed last year's win total and beat Syracuse. If you're Syracuse, winning a night game midweek in Blacksburg is almost a dang near impossible thing to do. So you've got a Thursday night game in Blacksburg off of bye week. I don't see Virginia Tech dropping this game. And Syracuse, certainly a winnable game at that. We should mention that. If you can contain, if you're Virginia Tech, if you walk into this game and can contain the dual threat capability of Garrett Strader and the amazing receiving ability of Aronde Gadsden, you're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine. So if you can shut down that offensive duo, I think Virginia Tech finds a way to win this game. Syracuse defensively loses a lot in their secondary. Virginia Tech could have a bit of a better game through the air. They've got the home field advantage backing them up. Syracuse still allowed about 143 rushing yards per game last year, so still some concerns there. I think the dual threat capability of Kyron Drones, even the RPO style possibly with Bashaw Tutton, gives Virginia Tech this win, and they've got their 4th win of the year, needing 2 more just to go to a bowl game. We look at the next couple games. Month of November is pretty brutal. At Louisville, at Boston College, at Virginia, 3 road games. The only lone home game is against a good NC State team. I think they dropped the game to Louisville. I will tell you that. They dropped the game to Louisville. One of the things we haven't talked too much about is the fact that Virginia Tech, well, they should improve across the board. An area that they really need to improve is the offensive line. The offensive line gave up 33 sacks in 2022. And now they're going up against a Louisville defense that had 50 sacks in 2022. This Louisville team, guys, in year 1 under Jeff Brom, I think it's going to be a lot better than people think. Jack Plummer, not bad at quarterback. Gerard Jordan, not bad at running back. A lot of transfers coming in to rebuild that offense. That defense loaded after allowing less than 20 points per game last year. So you go on the road now to this Cardinals team, again, with questions offensively for yourself. I just don't see Louisville losing this game. So the Hokies lose to the Cardinals. I think they lose to Boston College. Another one of those games that to me was kind of a toss-up because they beat the Eagles last year 27-10, but Boston College is going to take a major step forward. Boston College was riddled with injuries last year, could not stay healthy to save their life, resulted in a 3-9 season, which is resulting in a lot of people overlooking the Eagles heading in to 2023. I don't think they're going to go win the ACC, win 8-9 games or anything like that, but Emmett Moorhead, I think, shows a lot of potential at quarterback. The defense under Jeff Hafley should be 10 times better than it was last year. Again, if the Eagles stay healthy, they're going to be just fine. And Virginia Tech, unfortunately, has to travel for that game. And they've struggled against Boston College in recent years, despite the 17-point win last year. They fall to the Eagles, and they fall to NC State as well. I was so close to picking them to beat the Wolfpack, right? I mean, 'cause they almost did it last year. You were leading NC State 21-3 last year, ultimately lost 22-21. But the Wolfpack, under Dave Doeren, while they don't always live up to their expectations, kind of like they didn't last year, injuries playing another major part of that, should be solid this year. They've got a transfer quarterback in Brennan Armstrong transferring in from Virginia. He knows the ACC. He knows how to win in the ACC. If he can return to his 2021 form, NC State's offense could be even better than they were last year, especially if he can stay healthy. And the defense, guys, allowed less than 20 points per game. 5 starters back. So stingy. And that's the problem of being in the ACC, right? Virginia Tech, with all these offensive questions, if they aren't more electric, more multidimensional, when you face elite defenses like NC State, Louisville, Florida State, Pittsburgh, it's going to be very tough to win that game because your offense is going to have to find a way to exploit that. And I don't know if they can, at least not right now, despite all the transfers. So I think they do fall to NC State at home, but of course, close out the year with a win over Virginia. The Commonwealth Cup, it's like, death taxes and Virginia Tech beating Virginia, right? It just doesn't happen. They've won 17 of the last 18 meetings. Only loss coming back in 2019. They did not play last year. The game was canceled, as we know, at the end of the year. But Virginia, arguably the worst team in the conference this year, going to go through some major struggles in year 2 under Tony Elliott, like the Hokies, doesn't have much of an offense. So this is actually probably, for me, going to be a pretty low-scoring game against the Cavaliers. But across the board, I do think if you had to choose one team to have the slight offensive edge, it is Virginia Tech. Defensively, I still lean Virginia Tech. Home field advantage, there's not going to be much of one. And I do think Virginia Tech defeats the Cavaliers like they typically do. And that's not just based on history alone. It's also based truly on the talent that's going to be out there on the field this year. So with that, guys, we have Virginia Tech finishing the year at 5-7. The Hokies going 5-7 in 2023. This, again, is a team that can go bowling. They probably should have gone bowling last year had they won those close games. So maybe they steal a win over Rutgers. Maybe they steal a win over Wake Forest. Maybe they steal a win over NC State. Who knows? There are winnable games on this schedule. They just need one more in our eyes to go bowling. And it wouldn't shock me in the slightest if Brent Pry can get them there. But the Hokies, we think, fall just a little bit short. But on the bright side, the competitiveness is there. The stats improve drastically. It won't be as miserable of a season for the Hokies. And next year, year 3 for Brent Pry, could be the year that things start to finally take off in Blacksburg. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Of course, check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com, our Patreon account for exclusive college football content there year-round. And of course, send us some gear. Check out our mailing address. Send us some ACC gear, Virginia Tech gear, whoever your team may be. Send us some gear to represent in every single Gridiron Expert video. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.